Chapter 5, Lessons and Laughter. The wind softened by late afternoon, leaving the Providence gliding more than sailing, her canvas sagging slightly as the sea smoothed beneath her. The air was thick with salt and dampness, the kind that clung to skin and rope alike. It was the kind of quiet that made older sailors uneasy and younger ones restless. On the foredeck, Finch and Pip knelt beside a coil of stiff, salt-soaked line, their fingers fumbling through the motions of a bowline. "No, that's a granny knot waiting to strangle itself," came Jonah Briggs's voice behind them. He stepped in, boots thudding softly on the damp planks. He crouched beside them, taking the line from Finch's hands. "Watch close," he said. "The Providence likes her knots clean. A sloppy knot'll cost you a finger or a mast." He moved slowly, deliberately, letting them see every turn of the rope. Rabbit comes out of the hole, runs around the tree, and back down the hole. Simple, strong. "Won't slip when the canvas is soaked and the wind's screaming." Handed the line back. "Your turn." Tried again. Better, not good, but better. Pip's attempt collapsed into a tangle. Jonah sighed, though not unkindly. "You're tying that like you're wrestling an eel. Here." Guided Pip's hands, adjusting his grip, showing him how to feel the rope rather than fight it. Good. Again. They practiced until their fingers were raw and the rope smelled of sweat and salt. Jonah stood, stretching his back. "Right, enough knots. There's something more important you need to see." He jerked his head toward the starboard side. "Come on." The boys followed him to the nearest 6-pounder, its iron barrel slick with a thin sheen of salt spray. The smell of damp metal and old powder lingered around it, faint but unmistakable. Jonah rested a hand on the cannon's cold flank. "This is where your real lessons begin." Finch swallowed. Pip's eyes widened. "This is solemn work," Jonah said. "You treat it with respect, you treat it with care, and you never, ever rush." Pointed to the tools laid out neatly beside the carriage, the worm, the sponge, the rammer, the handspike. "You'll learn these first, before powder, before shot, before anything that can kill you." Lifted the worm. "This clears the barrel, miss a spark, and the next load'll take your hands off." Handed it to Finch. "Try it, slow." Pushed it in, awkward but careful. "Good, again." Next, Jonah opened the shot locker, a reinforced chest bolted to the deck. Inside, rows of iron balls sat nestled in straw, each one dark with age and smelling faintly of rust and brine. "This is where the shot lives," Jonah said. "You'll learn to grab it fast but safe. Never put your fingers where they'll get crushed." Let them lift one. Finch grunted. Pip nearly dropped his. "Feels heavier than it looks," Pip muttered. "Aye," Jonah said. "Everything on a ship is heavier than it looks. Salt and damp make sure of that." Stepped back, letting the boys absorb the weight of the moment. "We're a merchant ship," he said. "Fast, sturdy, true, but lightly armed. 6 guns, and they're older than half the crew." Finch frowned. "Is that enough?" Jonah didn't answer immediately. He looked out over the endless gray water, the wind tugging at his coat. "Most days, aye," he said. "But out here, a ship like ours can look like a purse to the wrong sort of men." Pip swallowed. "Pirates," Jonah nodded once. Not dramatic, not fearful, just honest. "Aye, they're out there, always have been. And they don't care if you're ready or not, so we make ourselves ready." He tapped the cannon's barrel. "This gun won't save you if you don't know how to use it. But if you do, if you learn it proper, it might just keep you breathing." He clapped Finch on the shoulder. "Now show me the sponge again. And this time, Pip, don't grip it like you're strangling a chicken." The boys laughed nervously and tried again. Nightfall by nightfall, the wind had died completely. The sails hung limp, the rigging creaked softly, and the Providence drifted on a glass-smooth sea. The air was warm, heavy with salt and the faint smell of bilge and tar. The crew gathered near the mainmast, lanterns swaying gently above them. Cards slapped against a barrel. Someone plucked a tune on a battered fiddle. Voices rose in a low, rolling song, the kind that kept rhythm more than melody, rum passed from hand to hand. Laughter rolled across the deck. The ship felt alive with camaraderie. Tommy Briggs dealt another hand. "Pip, if you play that card, I swear I'll toss you overboard." Pip played it anyway. The table erupted in laughter. Jonah leaned against a coil of rope, watching the boys with a faint smile. "You'll learn cards faster than knots, at least." Old Marlowe emerged from the galley, wiping his hands on his apron. "If any of you lot cheat, I'll feed you to the rats." "Rats don't want us," Tommy said. "We're too salty." That earned a round of groans. Then Tommy slapped the side of the big water barrel beside him, a deep, hollow thunk that made the younger hands jump. "All right, lads," he said. "You've learned your knots, you've learned your guns. Now it's time you learn the most important tradition aboard any ship." Finch blinked. "What tradition?" Jonah muttered. Here we go. Tommy ignored him. He tapped the barrel again. This here is the Providence's most loyal crewman. Never complains, never sleeps, never misses a watch. Pip frowned. Barrel. Aye, Tommy said solemnly. And every man aboard takes his turn with it. Older sailors tried and failed to keep straight faces. Finch's eyes widened. What do you do with the barrel? Tommy leaned in, lowering his voice dramatically. You climb in. Pip nearly dropped his cards. You what? The entire deck erupted, roaring, howling laughter that echoed off the rigging and rolled across the still sea. Jonah finally stepped in, shaking his head. Ignore him, boys. It's an old sailor's tale. Every ship's got one. Tommy's just trying to see how pale he can make you. Held up his hands innocently. What? I'm educating the youth. Them on how to coil a line, Jonah said. Not on how to scare them out of their wits. The boys were laughing now, the tension broken, the joke landing exactly as it should, rough, harmless, and part of the ship's culture. Tommy raised his tankard. To the Providence and to the barrel, the only crewman who never talks back. The men roared again, slapping the barrel for emphasis. Even Captain Hawthorne, passing by on his rounds, paused long enough to shake his head with a faint smile before continuing on. Above them, the stars burned cold and bright. Below them, the sea held its breath. And the Providence drifted on, steady and true.